Hi, my name is James Coe, and today we're going to be making cinnamon rolls. So we will begin by pouring about a half quart of milk into the glass bowl. And we'll add a packet of the active dry yeast to it. And we're going to whisk this. A teaspoon of honey. And 2 eggs. And we want to blend this until it's fully mixed together. So once this becomes a even consistency, we're going to take our 1/4 pound of cake flour, about 5 grams of salt, 1/8 of an ounce of ground cardamom, 2 ounces of sugar. We're going to need a stick of soft butter. And last but not least, 1/2 pound of your bread flour. Now we want to stir this mixture slowly to incorporate it. Now, once everything has been incorporated, we're going to start mixing the dough faster. And we're going to do this until the dough is smooth and elastic and homogeneous throughout. So according to ehow.com, the first cinnamon roll was baked in Sweden. And there, October 4th is known as National Cinnamon Bun Day. Cinnamon buns in Sweden are apparently not as heavy or sweet as they are in the US. Once the dough has reached a smooth and elastic consistency, your sweet dough will be finished. Before we start working with the dough, we're going to need to prep 2 things. The first is a egg and milk wash. So we're going to take 1 egg, and then we add a little bit of milk. And we blend thoroughly. Second thing we need to prepare is our melted butter. So we're going to do that by taking our other stick of butter in a bowl. And I'm going to cut about 3 tablespoons worth of butter. We can heat up our butter and melt it by placing it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. Once the butter is pretty much melted, you can take your whisk and just stir in the rest of the butter. Now we have our egg and milk wash and our melted butter. We can begin working on the dough. So we take a little bit of flour, put it over the table. We want a light coating of flour on our hands so the dough doesn't stick to them. So now we get that dough right onto the table. So we begin by kneading the dough. What you want to do is you want to take your heel, you want to push into the dough, you want to fold it in half. So now we want to get our dough into a rectangle. We want it to be approximately 1.5 feet by 1 foot. Okay, now that we have our dough rolled into a rectangle, we're going to take some of our egg and milk wash, brush that along the top edge of the long side of the roll. And what this is going to do is it's going to help us seal the roll when we roll it. So now taking our melted butter, we're going to just spread that all over this, but being careful not to cover the egg wash area. Okay, so now we take some sugar and we sprinkle it all over the buttered area. You spread that out evenly over the butter surface. Then we sprinkle on some cinnamon. So now we have our filling all evened out, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the dough and we're going to roll it into a roll towards the egg wash side. Start making the roll by crimping the edge. We take a knife, preferably a serrated one, and then another half. Now we want to cut these in halves. Okay, so now we're going to butter the pan so the buns don't stick to it. We're going to take some of these cinnamon buns that we cut up and place them on the buttered sheet tray. We're going to take some melted butter and cover each of these tops. Okay, so now we take a warm wet towel and we cover the cinnamon buns. Okay, now that we have wrapped the tray with the warm wet towel, we need to put it in a place that's around 80 to 90 degrees to let it proof. And I achieve this by putting it in the oven during the preheat setting and then turning it off before it gets too hot. So proofing's a baker's term for the final dough rise before baking. And the way that yeast works is when you put it in the bread along with the sugars and whatnot to make the dough, the yeast, in the absence of oxygen, takes the sugars and converts it into cellular energy. And the byproducts of that being carbon dioxide and ethanol. Now the carbon dioxide causes the bread to leaven or rise, and the ethanol becomes baked out in the process. Fermentation imparts a lot of flavor, and generally the longer that it takes, the better the flavor. So in 20 minutes, the dough should have expanded to about 50% of its original volume. So now we have to put them into the oven at about 380 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so in about 25 to 30 minutes, the buns should be ready. And you'll know that they're ready once they turn like a golden to light brown. And what you want to do is immediately cover them with some of the apricot jam. Okay, and if you want, you could also put some frosting on top. There you have it, cinnamon roll.